Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to a late episode of Skyblock News. I'm your host, Derailious, and today we're going to be going over a brand new update that has been announced by the Hypixel Skyblock team called the Greenhouse. This is a brand new garden-related update that actually looks really good. Before we begin, though, I just want to say please make sure to like and subscribe down below, as it really helps out the channel a lot, and use code RAIL on the Hypixel store for 5% off your order. Without any further ado, though, let's get started. So, starting off here, the admins write, "Hello, today we'd like to share more about one of the garden projects we've been working on the last couple of months. This planned release brings a lot of new additions and changes, including an overhaul to farming tools, a bunch of new visitors, and even custom crops. But in this thread, we want to focus on one particular feature, the greenhouse. The greenhouse is a new placeable plot in the garden that lets you plant, water, and grow crops over multiple real-life hours or days, whether you are online or offline. The goal is to offer a slower, more passive alternative to farming crops actively, while still contributing to your garden progression, including your crop milestones. Instead of spending a lot of hours farming directly, you'll be able to plan out your greenhouse, water your crops, and check back later for the results. Also, it introduces new interesting content through the mutation system, but more on that below. So, let's dive a bit deeper on how the greenhouse will work in the garden. Starting off here, this sounds absolutely incredible. It sounds like a solution to many of the problems that I've talked about related to the garden. Crop milestones feel too long. The gameplay isn't very interesting. I would have much rathered something like this in the first place, and I'm very excited to see what they do with this. In order to unlock the greenhouse, you'll get it at garden level 7, where you'll meet a familiar visitor, the carpenter. Completing his offer rewards you with the greenhouse blueprint. After building it, you'll begin an introductory quest that walks you through most of the basics of how the greenhouse works and how to interact with it. Planting and watering. The greenhouse is smaller than a standard garden plot, but crops grown inside the greenhouse yield significantly more on harvest, but they also take longer to grow. After planting, crops will require water to keep on growing. To water a plant, you'll need to use a watering can that sprays water on each of the soil plots and can be upgraded to increase the amount of water and area that it sprays in. From there, crops will grow on their own while you're away. The design intention is that players will only need to spend a short amount of time per day on the garden, deciding what to plant and how to arrange it, and then come back the next day to harvest them. Although this process sounds fairly straightforward, there are a couple features of the greenhouse we have not talked about yet, the crop effects and mutations. Let's start talking about crop effects first. Each crop you plant on the greenhouse actually provides a buff to a nearby crop. For example, wheat grants harvest boost to nearby crops, granting them 20% increased yield when harvested. Each crop has its own unique buff that applies to other crops. Some can even provide multiple buffs. Other crops can even apply negative buffs to nearby crops, but they usually also have stronger versions of positive buffs as well, like netherwort for example. You get a 30% yield boost for netherwort, but also 20% less farming XP for nearby crops. As you can see, stronger buffs usually come with a certain drawback, so you have to think about which crops you want to place next to each other. Other interesting buffs include immunity, removing negative effects from nearby crops, or even buff spread, spreading its currently held buffs to other crops. As you can see, the crop effects system can be quite intricate, allowing you to strategize how you want to plant your crops in the greenhouse to achieve your optimal result. It will be interesting to see the different setups players come up with, as well as they are still tweaking the system. Next up, we're going to be talking about mutations. When specific crops are arranged around an empty soil plot, that plot has a chance to spread a new mutated crop. There are over 30 different mutations, each with different requirements, and also growth mechanics and minigames. Each mutation is unique and require a specific combination of other nearby crops, or even other mutations, for a chance to spread. As you spread different mutations, you will naturally unlock more. Mutations stack and build on each other, unlocking more intricate mutations as you progress through the mutation tree. So this is one of the mutations here, and it's not given a name, but it looks pretty damn cool. Here you can see the dust grain mutation, so it's dust grain, surrounded by 4 wheat, which is the requirement for it to spread to the middle plot. Whether it actually spreads onto the middle plot depends on the growth cycle, which triggers every few hours in the greenhouse, and updates all crops and mutations simultaneously. Dust Grain is one of the simplest mutations. It grows instantly, requires no water, has no unique minigame, and only needs 4 wheat nearby to spread. But as you unlock more unique mutations, things get more complex. Mutations may take time to grow, need water, or have unique mechanics, such as a flower that falls occasionally asleep and must be woken up, a cheese-like mutation that attracts rats to your greenhouse, or even a chorus fruit mutation that teleports around your greenhouse as it keeps on growing. That is pretty interesting right there. Future plans for the garden. We are interested to see what you guys think about the greenhouse and if it's something worth expanding upon for the garden, as it provides a new path to progress inside the garden. Allowing players to have both the option to choose whether or not you are more interested in active or passive farming with the greenhouse is one of the goals we are aiming for. At this stage, we are still experimenting with what the right balance of the differing playstyles might be and how that would look in the future. But for now, both of them will have certain exclusive items or features you may not find in the other, but that might change. After the release of Part 2, we will likely take a break from the garden to focus on other content. In the future, we would like to expand the garden to the newest Minecraft version and add husbandry-related content, allowing you to feed, breed, and farm animals that you hold in the garden. Lastly, we have to talk about crop milestones. Even with the addition of the greenhouse, they felt that the current crop milestones, especially in the later stages, are still too high, which is why they are planning to drop milestones by a further 68% across the board. They think that with the combination of the greenhouse and this nerf, crop milestones should be a lot more achievable for more players and no longer be a massive grind as it is right now. The nerf will take place when they release the greenhouse, currently planned to release later this year. They wanted to give players a heads up now so you can plan accordingly. More details will follow with an alpha. That's everything for now. Wow. What a post. My thoughts are, this is incredible and should be the focus of the garden here on out. I'm going to keep it a buck. The active farming of the garden is great when it comes to contests. I think contests are a great system. I think this just sounds so much more interesting on a day-to-day. So much more interesting gameplay-wise. You're having to strategize and think of where you're placing certain things within your actual, greenhouse here. This is something that feels a lot more expandable, a lot more interesting in the long run, and definitely a lot more fun, as I won't have to sit there and hold down D on my keyboard for 400 hours, which seems to be the goal with this. I really, really like this. I think that there's obviously reason to keep around active farming for stuff like the contests, which I think, once again, are in a great state. I actually would make the argument that I think the contests shouldn't be affected by stuff in the greenhouse. I think they should be separate. But aside from that, I think this is a good direction to move forward in. And it sounds very, very strong from game design perspectives. I think they did a great job on this. The build is cute. I think it's very well done. I have basically no problems with this at all. I think I am extremely excited to see this release, to get all the mutations unlocked, to get all of the crop effects. Just sounds great. Overall, I would love to hear what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Recently, I've been kind of on a crusade to try to get something out of the team in terms of future patches or information about future updates, and this is kind of something that I've wanted for a while now, so I do appreciate the team making something like this public. I think this is a great thread. It goes over things fairly well. I'm extremely excited to see what ends up releasing. This is yet another update, by the way, that's supposedly going to drop this year. Something else I would like to see from the team, maybe go over and say, which things are on the menu for 2025 and which are pushed into 2026. Are we getting stuff like Guardian Slayer this year, Iron Man W's, etc.? What, in terms of what stage are different pieces of content at? Because this is something that's apparently going to happen this year. I'm excited for it. I think this looks great once again, but just want to get a better roadmap as a whole. Would love to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end. Make sure to like and subscribe. Use code RAIL in the Hypixel store, 5% off your order, and look to the future, fellas. I'll see you then.